Lobster Magnet. Lobster's a 10, I told you grab it.
Welcome to Lobster Magnets Review, the channel, the review. Hopefully you enjoyed the awesome-tacular intro thing that I will probably now be sticking in the front of every single one of my videos. Yeah, almost 100 subscribers. We're, kicking ass, taking names. Woo! Taking the algorithms, math, YouTube. So we are here to talk about Chapter 15 of Dr. Stone as we ride this vlog hype train and talk about this upcoming series. So, Greg, what did you think of Chapter 15 of Dr. Stone?
I dislike it a lot.
Why did you hate it? I didn't hate it as much as you did.
I just see like a whole bunch of like it just seems really pretentious that, Senku wakes up just like perfectly fine. He's like perfectly fine. He's like, he
didn't get disabled Senku in a wheelchair, but then again, I always kind of knew we weren't going to get that.
But he's just like, he's not even like physically, he's not even immobile right now. Like maybe he should have like had like a couple of weeks to recover from like a neck injury as serious as that.
Well, he's got that stupid... I love it. The Master of Arts and Crafts creates like this stupid little banner for him of like the rocket ship, and it looks like the most retarded thing possible. I was like, oh, you're going to finally show it. You're the arts and crafts, cheat level arts and crafts.
Cheat level arts and crafts.
This is the best you can do. Is just like the little rocket ship shape on your stupid loincloth thing.
Yeah, that was kind of silly, but it was an okay amount of silliness. For like, he's been calling everyone cheat level everything. You might as well have like a jokingly cheat level something like cheat level arts and craft. Oh my god, look at this space rocket ship design on this stupid bandage. I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny.
So, Greg, was that the thing that pissed you off the most about this chapter? The fact that, like, Dr. Stone is, like, 100% fine and, like, not injured?
Yeah. We got that whole long backstory, like, just for this build-up of, like, oh, turns out I'm perfectly fine. It's a twist you all saw coming from, like,
if he was going to be perfectly fine, we weren't going to get paralyzed Dr. Stone. The real thing to discuss is now that the main cast is separating, as we have the rival between civilizations. Endurance Guy and, Crafts Girl are going to go become, like, undercover
I hate that, too. I think he's like trying to map out the rest of the manga for the rest of the characters because the other characters aren't strong enough to carry the whole series. He's just like, okay, this is how the manga's gonna go now that I'm fully recovered. You're gonna go to their side and do like super stealth missions while I'm gonna build my science-y robot things on, in the background. And then we're eventually going to have a big clash and war. So that's what you should expect from this manga. And now, now that I'm revived, the main character of the series, I'm just going to tell you what the story is going to be. I'm just going to tell you what's going to happen.
Well, the interesting part when you think about it. Oh, I did something stupid.
What?
I got these really fancy headsets, and I'm not using them. Why am I not using them? There we go. That's 10 times better. Okay.
Is it 10 times better?
Yeah, I feel really stupid for not doing that. So, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah.
You kind of
it feels like it's a way that, like, they want to get rid of the boring, Endurance Guy and Crafts Girl, so Senku can interact with new characters. So I feel like this whole splitting up device, because like they had that silhouette of like the mysterious fire girl who we don't see yet, the new character we're going to be introduced to eventually, and my instinct tells me that we're just sort of getting them out of the picture so we can introduce more interesting new characters.
I thought this could have been room for...
Greg?
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, son of a bitch.
Maybe you should unplug your headphones.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you?
Can you hear me now, Greg? Greg. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, there we go. Now I can hear you. I had my stupid thing put in the wrong thing. So yeah. So what do you think about the characters being split up?
I still don't like it because I think that Taiju, or Endurance Guy and Arts and Crafts Girl can develop as characters like without Senju being there. I think they could potentially, get some character growth with Senkugan.
Hopefully, it'll be interesting to see if what it focuses on more. If it's Senku is just going to be off screen for the next 100 chapter or 50 or 20 chapters or so. It's all about the community that the primal guy revives, and then we learn about it, and then Senku comes back and he's like, "Oh my god, I've got a mech robot!" Like that episode of Rick and Morty where Rick has to fight the scientist guy in the woods.
It's just it seems so dumbed down for me. It's so dumbed down because this is what you should expect when, later in the series, we're going to have a huge battle and we're going to fight, it's going to be a climactic battle between Primal Guy and Senku. I just hate it. I hate it so much. I think it's just it's really insulting to the readers to dumb down a story like this. That could have been way interesting about just rebuilding civilization. How do you start from the ground up?
I think there's been enough seeds planted that eventually the primal guy is going to become a good guy, and they're going to fight against some sort of external threat. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out ultimately, but primal guy is not going to be the main series villain for the whole time. At most, he'll be the antagonist till chapter 40 or 50. Then they'll move on to something bigger.
I don't want it to be a battle manga where it's they're battling between all sorts of revived humans just for the sake of how they want to rebuild society. I thought it could just be a little bit of a side thing, but this chapter made it seem like it was gonna be it's leading up to this kind of epic war battle when it doesn't even have to. Couldn't they just make a new plan to how to kill Primal Guy? Hide out all three of them and figure out a new plan to kill Primal Guy?
Well, honestly, what this reminds me of is the fact that, I guess my sort of disappointment in the fact that, you're right. I don't really give a shit about the Primal Guy fight. That's not the interesting thing of the series. After they, separate, they should be just gone. They should never see Primal Guy for a long time, till, maybe 30 chapters from now, and we should get new people, new storylines, rebuilding shit, and that's probably the better direction for the series, as opposed to, we gotta get Primal Guy. We didn't get him this time, but we're gonna get him next time.
I'm also kind of curious how Primal Guy is going to revive the younger generation, how he, how much of the formula he can replicate. Jeez. This is a big problem in the series. The fact that Primal Guy can make a huge mass of humans now. Huge army of humans now, reviving them. So he's a very big threat right now in this series. And it's so early on. It's just so early on. I was on board for the idea of arguing about the politics of how to rebuild civilization and a smaller scale, but not a massive war scale all of a sudden Like all of a sudden, it looks like in this chapter they're foreshadowing like a potential war between all these resurrected humans and Primal Guy and Senku.
There's definitely a clash of civilizations. I don't think the big thing is going to happen for a long time, but yeah, I mean, it's not the best direction for the series to go in. I'll give it that. So, Greg, what would you give this chapter?
I give it a 4.
I'm a little nicer. I give it a 6. It's not a super promising direction that the series is going to, which is, kind of sad and a little disappointing.
I may even give it no, maybe not. No, a 3. I give it a 3.
Why are you so cruel, Greg?
Well, just think about it. Like, why all this buildup of these like flashback sequences, right? We haven't even like built up any of these characters at all. Like we haven't built up the camaraderie between Taiju and Senku, and now they're like starting to separate, like just out of the blue. And there's like this stupid flag thing that he has. It's supposed to be symbolic, like One Piece. When you haven't even established any of like the necessary groundwork to earn that kind of stupid symbology.
Like a big moment of declaration.
Yeah, he's like, this is my declaration as king of the pirates, the king of Dr. Stone. It's so dumb. I just feel like insulted when I read this chapter. That's how I felt. I felt insulted. As a reader, I felt insulted.
I didn't feel insulted, but it's not the direction I really want to see the series go in. I'm just hoping that the dynamic shifts as new characters that are not Primal Guy and other people, come in.
Yeah. The only reason why I'm not bringing it down to the bare minimum low is because I want to still keep following it, and I thought the very first chapters had a lot of potential, and I want to see it get out of this huge roller coaster dive right now. this massive dive, this massive low point in the series right now. It's just really unsettling.
Yeah, I can give you that. It's definitely not a great point in the Dr. Stone chronology. We'll have to see. Already, the Jumps had this big initiative where they had 6 new series that started all up at once, 1 week after another. This was one of the bigger ones and probably the most successful one out of that initiative. But they're starting to get canceled. The Demon Diaries of Emperor Porpor, whatever, that got canceled.
Do you think this is going to get canceled?
No, but I think we're going to see a lot more series get canceled. I think Dr. Stone's doing okay. Not great, but it's one of the stronger of those initial 6.
I think one of the things that's saving it right now is the art. It's it's got such fantastic art all the time, though.
Yeah. Boichi it does do really distinctive art, and even the Dr. Stone facial fractures where he goes "Ugh!" or really amusing to look at.
Yeah, I can't fault it for its art at all. I think it's got brilliant. It's got a brilliant artist in working for this writer, but the writer.
Well, Greg, you're an iShield 21 fan, so you got more stake in this than I do.
I think that's also part of my disappointment as well, because iShield 21 wasn't very complicated story. It was just this is a shonen manga, basically revolving around football.
Well, iShield 21 revolves around a subgenre of shonen manga, the sports manga. Now, I am not well versed in the world of sports manga because I fucking hate sports. I don't come to my fucking anime and manga to have sports stories. But, as I like to consider myself a sophisticated person, I am still fully aware of their importance within the shonen landscape and how they're an instrumental part of anime fandom. And so I like pay attention on a cursory level of to like sports manga, even though I could not care shit about them. But you actually read Eye Shield 21.
How does this story compare to Eye Shield 21? I feel like Eye Shield 21 is just kind of like, I don't think it was like the most well thought out kind of story. I think it's just like enemies which were like rival football teams just kept getting more and more ridiculous in terms of power levels, and they kept on trying to raise the stakes. And the cool things about it were just like, you learned a little bit about football terminology here and there. You learned about like what actual football training measurements are. There's a lot of like neat little factual things like thrown into it, but also fantastical elements too. Like, I want you to kick this rock across 200 miles, and as like training for football, just to work on your leg work in some dumbass way.
but you enjoyed it enough.
Yeah, it was
it was like a kind of like a mid-tier manga that did successfully, got an anime, went to 300 chapters. Didn't set the world on fire in terms of fandom, but it had a very respectable run.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it was a manga I enjoyed reading through, and I mean, it didn't have the strongest. It definitely didn't have the strongest story. The characters were pretty memorable, but they never really grew. The characters kind of stagnated a little bit. They're just kind of almost used for comical purposes a lot of the time. Just I don't know. Just I could sort of see a little bit of similarities between this and the Eye Shield, though, because it looks like they're throwing in all these factoids about how do we build civilization from the ground up, and it's oh, here's this such and such, and it's got really really comical characters, exaggerated characters like Taiju and Senku, who reminds me a lot of Haruma.
Well, we'll have to wait and see if how it plays out, and if we get our rebuilding civilization story that we want to see. All right, so we're past the 15-minute mark. Time to wrap this up. 0.6 for me, 4 for you, right, Greg?
3.
It's 3. It went down the more you hate it. God, you know what I want to do though is once the mangas, once stuff like My Hero Academia and Attack on Titan wraps up and we don't do reviews of those, maybe we'll go back and look at failed Shonen Jump series that only lasted 10 or 12 chapters and review those.
Oh, that sounds actually pretty fun. Really short-lived.
Yeah, exactly. Short-lived series, and because that I absolutely love how Shonen Jump is this ultimate Darwinian creative thing where it's you have to get the reader's attention. You are fighting alongside the greatest manga running in the fucking world, and you have your chance to reach that height, but you got to bring your absolute A game, and it's this 24/7 gauntlet of creativity that you just got to keep on pumping out forever.
That's why Bakuman was so interesting when that was a manga in Shonen Jump.
Yeah, I wish Bakuman went on for a little bit longer. I think I might make a video on that about where I thought Bakuman had potential to go even further and why it kind of fell short of where I really wanted to see it go.
Really? You thought it fell short? Interesting.
There's a huge missed opportunity in Bakuman, and I won't talk about it too much now since we're already over time. But it's enough that I want to make my own fucking video about it and why it kind of pisses me off that Bakuman, didn't quite take that opportunity. It's like a final story arc.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds pretty interesting. I'd like to hear that. But yeah, 3 for Dr. Stone. I hated this
chapter.
This chapter and where the story is going right now.
All right, thanks for watching the video.
All right, take it easy.
You got a lobster, you got a magnet. Lobster's a 10, don't you grab it.